Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast and a second game in, I believe, a best of 3 series between MoonGlade, or Glade as he is known on the, I believe, Southeast Asia servers, versus Select. We have Select spawning as the blue Terran player, playing against Glade, spawning as the purple Zerg here on Metalopolis. Glade spawning at the 12 o'clock location, meanwhile Select spawning at the 9 o'clock location. I am still waiting for some of the Machinima Realm Invitational final games to be played. I am also enjoying a nice needed rest and break. I had a machine gun a lot of the games for the Invitational and the tournament, and unfortunately my quality suffered just a little bit as I spent a lot of time late into the night trying to encode videos and whatnot. We do have a delayed 10 supply depot coming in just a little bit, so it will be a little bit of time before the barracks will be able to follow up. We'll see if that has any effect on Select's early economy. Meanwhile, Glade has moved out with this one Overlord, hasn't seen anything just quite yet. I like what he's doing with this one Overlord, just trying to make it so that he can see the mineral patches, knows that there is nothing there, and knows that without anything mining there, he is good and that his opponent did not spawn there. Also, another thing to check is there is nothing on the front door. We do see an SCV now coming up the ramp from Select, so he will realize this is going to be close spawning locations. Now, one of the things that a Terran player should always wonder as soon as you scout out your opponent is what exactly the strategy is going to be. We already see 2 drones now making their way down, and so 2 drones will be trying to shoo away this one SCV. One of them will try to grow up to be that hatchery and doing a nice little juke there, and we may get a hatchery down in just a second, but Select doing a great job with that micro on that one, and getting an engineering bay as well, just causing even more problems there. So that engineering bay at 110 hit points, it will get cancelled, but still furthering the delay on that low ground hatchery. Glade is going to suffer just a little bit. Down to 30 hit points, down to 20. Is it going to get canceled? Yes, canceled at 10, and now we should be getting a hatchery up in just a moment. Oh no, it does not look like he's going for a hatchery at all. Instead opted to get that spawning pool, as he would not be able to get that hatchery up in time anyways for any serious economic lead. We do see that there is a barracks now being placed down over here by Select, and unfortunately the drone of Glade will not be able to get inside the space. He knows that a refinery is up just because of the tech lab, but beyond that he doesn't know the critical information, whether it is going to be 2 gas or 1. Two refineries or 1 refinery, and now Select has a number of options that he can try to pull here. 2 overlords sitting in the center of the map still, 1 SCV still wandering around as Glade just sets up this low ground hatchery. And back in play, we now see a queen currently being trained up as well. The metabolic boost should be coming online in just a moment, and those Zerglings will be moving out, but I'm not sure if those Zerglings will really be able to do anything at all. Zerglings just going to try to move out across the map. There is going to be 1 Reaper though, so an early Reaper. So this is a Reaper expansion coming in from Select. A very, very popular opening and build, especially if your Zerg opponent does try to go an expansion of his own. That means that there are not going to be that many, there are not going to be any early roaches, so that Reaper will get a lot of mileage. Now trying to get some damage onto this one Zergling over here, or 2 Zerglings, able to get 1 shot, and now going for another shot, able to get 2 kills or 4 kills total. So that is already a decent amount of kills, and now we may even get a bunker. In comes that Reaper. The Reaper, however, realizing that it's not going to be able to work out too well, perhaps we will see some bunkers being laid down on that low ground. We see that Reaper now, being very careful, not very careful at all, taking some damage from that queen, being forced to try to run away and able to get back onto that low ground there, but without a bunker set down, I do not believe that much it will be successful at all. That queen now trying to make its way over. The queen is on that creep now, so the Reaper will not be able to get that much damage. SCV coming up the ramp, and now that Reaper and SCV up the ramp, being very careful, able to see up that ramp as well, but that Reaper only getting, I believe, 1 additional kill, sacrificing on SCV, not really worth it there. We now have Glade moving in and doing a very, very important scout with this Overlord. The Overlord is pretty much going to be sacrificed, but it is very important to keep track of what your opponent is doing. He does see that there are 2 production buildings here. He does now see that there is an expansion, he will see that there is an expansion on the low ground in just a second. So Glade now making its way over, trying to see what is on the low ground. SCVs are now making their way down to that low ground as well. He sees the orbital command, and also sees a siege tank making its way out. So Select is in a very, very nice position. He is very well fortified. Any units that try to be trained over here and try to do a rush will just run up straight against this bunker and the siege tank and pretty much fall apart. the scouting overlord was pretty much lost to begin with as soon as Glade moved out. Overlord getting a lot of scouting information, taking a look at the saturation, and will the overlord be able to escape that one marine? No, unable to fly away and get some distance between the cliffs there. We now see what Zerglings now trying to make their way over towards that bunker, able to get off one hit, but really not that much altogether, and Select now ready for a long drawn out macro game. For Terran versus Zerg, this is the best spawning locations that a Terran player could ask for, just because it is much difficult for a Zerg to take a third base. We now see Glade taking the third base over here on the bottom at the 3 o'clock position, and what this is going to mean is that Glade is going to have a very difficult time trying to saturate this mineral line unless he actually goes for a Nidus network. So one of the things to consider on Metalopolis, if you are a Zerg player, getting one Nidus network just so that you can transport reinforcements very, very effectively and very early, get decent mineral and gas saturation as well. Very, very common strategy, or a strategy that I believe, it's not common yet, I believe will have some merit later on. We now see more reactors being put down, so Select now going into mass marine play. So it's going to be marine tank with perhaps medevac support, and now level 1 weapons upgrade on the engineering bay currently coming online. Siege tanks able to get a quick blast there, and now we see an SCV on the move. What is this SCV planning to do? I believe it's just trying to scout out to see if there is an expansion anywhere. So Select, realizing that his opponent is going to have a difficult time trying to take up a third base, he is now moving around the map, making sure that there is not any other expansions anywhere, and he will quickly come across Glade's hatchery here. There is a Baneling nest and a Spire coming online, but the Spire is going to only train Mutalisk, and with those Marines, with those 1-0 upgrades, those Mutalisks are going to fall out of the sky relatively quickly. SCV now going to wake its way up this ramp, quickly see that this hatchery has already been placed down, and we'll figure out what exactly Select can try to do in order to take this down. It is cross location, so it is relatively difficult for Select to get over there. He could try to use 8 Marines in a medevac in order to make that trip. And now we do see the drones being transferred, walking that distance manually between the 2 locations, transferring even more drones. So it's going to be 6 drones now being transferred, and there are now 7 Mutalisks in the air. Army-wise, you can see that Select has a slight advantage, but Glade is not in a bad position either, as Glade does have a lot of stationary defense, but now outmove these Marines and these siege tanks. Once again, the stim pack research has been completed, the level 1 weapons upgrade has been completed, but now in come the Mutalisks. Now the Mutalisks getting some damage, perhaps we'll be able to take down some key production buildings, perhaps even take down that tech lab before it completes, but now we already see the Marines in position, getting a lot of blast from those siege tank cover fire, and he's in a very, very nice and safe position in the back. Needs to pull back with those spine crawlers. One spine crawler already taken down, another spine crawler trying to root into place. Baneling's not going to make their way over. No, unable to get there as they do not have that movement speed. The Mutalisks, however, still making their way, getting a lot of damage across multiple units, and perhaps going to take on those medevacs. Losing those key medevacs is going to hurt, as those Marines, doing very good job making sure to run away from those Banelings. There are siege tanks here, and now the Mutalisks are going to have to run away from those Marines of their own, but there's only 1 medevac in the air, not that much energy on that medevac, and those Zerglings now may be able to simply just come in and surround. Baneling's now trying to come in. Cleaned up by 1 critical siege tank blast, and that was absolutely critical. 1 siege tank getting 3 to 4 kills on those Banelings. Mutalisks now in the air trying to get more damage across more of those Marines. Marines are going to get cleaned up, and now without any Marine support, or only 2 Marine support, these siege tanks will fall. But the hatchery has gone down as well, and that is going to cripple the economy of Glade. Glade now only tying in bases 2-2 at this stage. More Marines are still being rallied, and that's going to be another mistake. Once again, Select losing multiple medevacs, and Glade looking in a very, very comfortable position, as there is not much here. There is 1 siege tank on the low ground. SCV is now trying to come in. Banelings need to get in and try to get some damage onto those SCVs. Taking down the bunkers, but not getting any of those SCVs, and that was a problem. By not damaging any of the SCVs that were trying to repair it, he didn't really hurt the economy. Select now transitioning into a drop, perhaps in this location here, and Glade, without any real natural defense at all, is going to be in a little bit of trouble. He does have 7 larvae currently, and building another hatchery over here, but his production was severely limited. Back here, we don't see any more units, more Zerglings now just being trained, but those Zerglings are not going to be enough to fend off this medevac, especially with those Marines. The combat shield now once again being re-researched as it was taken down earlier, and now those very, very low hit point Marines need to get healed up very quickly. Zerglings running away from the scene already, so those Marines may be able to get a lot of mileage and perhaps take down 1, if not 2 hatcheries by the time that medevac arrives. We now see 22 Zerglings and 3 Mutalisks still being trained. More and more Marines being trained once again, production-wise, level 1 armor upgrades as those Marines now dropping out of the sky, getting some damage here onto that hatchery. The hatchery now taking some damage, but the Zerglings coming in a single file line. That was not a smart move. Select realizing that reinforcements are on the way. Very, very smart, pulling away with that 1 medevac. And now going to drop them over here, allowing them to get healed back up. The Mutalisk going to do a quick sweep, and are they going to find it? Yes, they are going to find it and get cleaned up here. So wow, Select losing his medevac and his Marine army, allowing Glade to continue mining off of the 9 o'clock or the 3 o'clock location. But in comes another large army from Select. Select moving out with Marines, siege tanks, and medevacs once again. Very, very powerful unit combination. The hatchery is up and running again. The Banelings are just being morphed in broad daylight, or a broad cityscape, as there is no sunshine currently on the field. But now Marine's just going to use stim and walk up that ramp, now going straight into the mineral line. So much damage has been dealt, and those Marines just being microed very carefully will be able to clean up a lot of those drones. And now Select, even though he was behind for a severe amount of time, able to get back into this game. Banelings coming in. Oh, 1 splash damage, 2 splash. More Marines are getting melted, but there are Marines ready on the high ground to reinforce this army. And Select coming back in with 1 upgraded Marines. Mutalisk getting shot down so quickly, and Glade says GG. So a real nice back and forth game here. Glade was able to push back that attack. Select, however, was able to get down that hatchery, and it really affected Glade's long-term economy. Glade never really recovered, and his economy never really recovered after losing so many drones at the 12 o'clock location. Hats off to Glade for trying to set up multiple expansions, but you can see at this stage he's sitting on 900 minerals, and I really think the macro of Select is really what pulled him through in this match. A lot of times, yeah, you can see the sheer number of larvae sitting down here. The movement upgrade was never researched for those Banelings. Also, never really saw a Roach Warren. Roaches would have been at least semi-decent on this fight, and perhaps even an Infestor getting off a fungal growth on a group of Marines, preventing them from being able to pull away, and then even Zerglings would be able to run in. Siege tanks would try to blast away at the Zergling, getting splash damage across those Marines as well. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 replay between MoonGlade and Select here on Metalopolis. And I will be announcing, or I will be giving links to the Machinima Realm Invitational when it's up. If you guys do not know what the Machinima Realm channel is, it is just www.youtube.com/Machinima Realm. The Prime games are already there, or I believe it's Prime versus Mouse Sports. So if you had checked out the annotation link from the tournament homepage, you would be able to click those links on the far right, and it would take you to the proper channel. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this game.